Good evening. Welcome to Hands On with Harriet. Well, we are going to make a new spring bed. What I have been doing is getting ready for the spring I've been ready for because winter is just not my favorite time of the year. And I went out and I bought some sheets from both, I think I got two different stores, and that would be Ross's and TJ Maxx, I believe. And then I came home and went through my ribbon and trim stash, and I found this beautiful, it looks like a crochet trim that is this color inside of the design on my sheets. Now, these are not expensive sheets. I think I paid maybe $24 or $30, anywhere from $19.99 to $25, $30 for these sheets, so I'm not sure. But anyway, what you want to do, the first thing you want to do is determine what kind of trim you want to put on your sheets. You can use all kinds of things. I found ribbon and then I found this kind of trim and you know, all kinds of things. You want to dress it up or dress it down. So that's what you have to determine. And then what you're going to do is you're going to measure your sheet to get the width all the way across, giving yourself at least a ½ an inch on the end here. And the reason for that is so that you can turn it under. At least a ½ an inch, but you can do an inch, which I think is better because you want to turn it under twice, you see? Or you can open up the seam and tuck it under the seam. I'm not going to open up the seam. I'm going to leave it as is and just tuck it under so that the edge of it will be finished. Now, then you have to determine how you're going to put your trim on. Are you going to lay your trim at the edge of the trim that's already there? Now, in order to do this one, you're going to want to make sure that you don't go over your trim when you're stitching it. You want to keep it right along the edge. If you want to go under the edge of your trim, you have to make sure you give yourself a little bit of an edge, because unless you're going to open this up, it's going to have to start at least a 1/4 of an inch away from the end of your sheet. Or you could put it on top of your trim, which gives you a stitching line to follow to keep it even. And that's where I think I'm going to put mine, because I think I want to keep this and I want to keep this and I want it to be a wider trim, and I think it'll be pretty that way. So after you've measured both of your sheet and your pillowcase, then you're ready to start stitching. Okay, so now I'm at my machine and I've threaded it. I've found a matching thread. Not completely the same, but so close. A mauve color. And what I'm doing here is I'm folding my trim back and under, and I am placing it behind on the back side of the sheet. Now, I got polyester sheets, so I didn't feel the need to wash and shrink them. And I got polyester because I didn't want them to shrink. I don't want to have to iron them after I wash them. I want them to be kind of like a high thread count, and these sheets feel wonderful. For some reason that doesn't want to go through. It might be because this particular, this turn here, this hem, is thick with fabric and thread. So I'm just going to get that in there. There we go. And I'm making sure that it is on the line so that I can catch it on the opposite side. Just a minute. I didn't have that lined up properly. Right. So you're going to put it right on the edge. And just, if you want to use a pin to hold it in place, and like I said, it's going to be very, very thick right here because of the fact that you have not only your trim, but you have this thickness of all the fabrics that you have right in this area. Well, let's try it without it. And it is very, very thick. I'm starting with a very short length, like a 1 inch, like a 1 centimeter, because I'm wanting it to tie itself off. Okay, and then I'll go to a regular length. And you have to go slow because it's going to want to move, which is what it's doing. It's trying to move on its own. And you just might have to hand crank it and push it through, but be careful of that needle. Not wanting to move because it's so thick. I guess I need to move let me move my pressure foot down. Yeah. To give it some space. And what I'm doing is I'm laying this right on top of this thread that's stitching this particular binding in there, the design that they have on there, or the trim, and it's giving me a guide. Okay, here we go. Okay, once you have stitched your trim on, you want to go back and make sure you snip off these threads, because you don't want threads dragging against your skin in the night. And then you want to check your work to make sure that it has it's on there correctly. It's pinned down. Now you could have used a white thread with this too. I just happened to have one that worked. I also cut off the tag that tells me how to launder my sheets. So you want to make sure you remember that, or place it somewhere where you can keep up with it. And what you're going to do after you get both your pillowcases and your sheets done is you're going to go back and you're going to use a light iron to get all of the lines out from the packaging. Since I didn't wash it, I'm going to have a lot of folds. So I want to get those out so that I'll make a pretty bed. Okay, everybody, look at what we have. Our sheets turned out beautifully. Just a little embellishment gives them a more elegant look. This could also be your shabby chic look, your country look, or whatever you want it to be, but it's going to make you feel wonderful no matter what you make it be. I paired it with an old comforter because I love the colors in this comforter, and it goes well with these sheets. And I always keep my comforters because I like changing up my beds to make them look special, and then you have a comforter that matches. But not only that, when you have guests, some, especially in the wintertime, some of them may be a little cold-natured, and they may need a little more. And a comforter on bed already, a nice warm comforter will help them to stay comfortable, and it's a part of your decor. With this comforter, I intend to make a duvet to freshen it up a bit. You can tell that we've been tumbling on this comforter for quite some time now, but it still works, and it's still nice and thick because it's a good quality comforter. I decided not to put any other pillows on the bed because I wanted you to see how beautifully these, I don't remember what I paid for them, $19.99 up to $29.99 sheets. Something not very expensive, but you can make them look expensive just by adding this small, simple embellishment. Now, when I was ironing these sheets, I used the polyester setting on my iron. These are microfiber sheets or slash polyester, so they're going to feel really great on your skin, but it gives you that wonderful feeling that a high thread count will give you against your skin. And when you're ironing yours, you may not have the polyester setting on your iron, so then use a synthetic setting because you don't want the iron to get too hot and melt your sheets. Don't know if they would melt, but I know that they're polyester, so I'm thinking they would. I will be adding throw pillows to this bed as I make them, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. I've already picked out the fabric and got it ready. I just got to decide how I want to make them look. Over there you see a floor arrangement that I just recently made in one of the flowers and gardens pots. And what I did was I distressed mine just a little to give it I painted it to give it a distressed look and give it also a vintage feel. And I just wanted it to seem like I had a bucket of wildflowers that I chose from my garden. If you want to see how that's done, just go to my channel and watch my video, and you'll see for yourself how that was done. Very simple. So thank you so much for coming by and sticking with me on this project. And I hope that you will give me a thumbs up. Please share it. And make comments, please. Let me see what you have done by being inspired by this particular project. Thank you so much. Come visit me anytime. This is Harriet with Hands On with Harriet, and we'll see you soon. Bye.